The three most common mistakes I see when I look at coaches' landing pages to free workshops or free lead magnets is that the headline doesn't say who it's for and what it's going to do for them.
A lot of people do this wrong. They build the SOP before the person is hired, and then they have all these questions, and then they're like, oh, how do I do that? Or what about this step? Or they just miss stuff. And then the SOP gets done incorrectly. What you want to do is when you hire someone, you want to do their role for them or with them. And then you want to talk them through like on a Zoom meeting and show them how to do the tasks. Today we're talking about how to scale from 10 to 50K months. We're on part 2. Last week we dropped 5 banger parts of this episode. Today we're going to do another 4. If you guys get some value from this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, or shoot us a message. Steph, how are you feeling today?
I feel great because last week we did get a lot of messages and a lot of people did say that it was awesome. And so I'm really grateful for that.
Good. We love that. We'll kick off with personal updates. So we've built an AI version of me. AI Tim, super scary, sounds like me in kind of an American twang. And what happens is you can actually, if you're a client and successful, you can use AI Tim 24 hours a day. That sounds nefarious, but I mean, use him for business purposes. So we've uploaded 6 million words. So that's all of our modules, files, podcasts, YouTubes, all that type of stuff. It's basically you and me, but with my voice on it. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe we'll just do better with your voice on it, but it's super cool. And it's a super cool add-on. The reason it is cool is because it saves our clients time. They don't have to wait for us 24 hours to reply to them sometimes in the group. And then on top of that, they can get answers whenever they want. And sometimes it is better than us because humans are feeble. And sometimes they make mistakes and sometimes they're just not as fast as an AI. So we've given that to our clients recently and they have loved it. Some of our clients have clocked up like hours of usage talking to me like on a voice call per day, which is kind of scary, but also kind of great. And it's like, I start to think about like, where is this going in terms of coaching and AI? And right now it's like AI assisted coaching for people that are actually using it. But down the track, I think the value in business coaching and coaching is that human to human connection, which you do get on coaching calls and retreats and events and stuff like that. But it's such a cool thing to add in. How have you seen the AI thing?
Yeah. So it's called Timbot and we love it. And everybody that's used it is loving it. They're able to run decisions by you basically in real time. And you kind of mentioned some of the inputs, but you missed a few. So like, it's got all of our knowledge, all of our IP, basically every worksheet we've ever made, every document we've ever put in our G Drive is uploaded, every one-on-one call we've ever had with a client, every group call we have, which are 4 a week, get uploaded. And so it's this constantly growing knowledge base. And obviously the more that we learn, the more that we teach our clients, the more that's updated in there. And so, someone could jump on right now and be like, hey, Tim, this is my landing page. Can you give me feedback on it? And it's giving like direct real-time feedback in 2 ways. 1, you can do it written, and 2, you can talk to it. And it does 99% of the time sound almost exactly like you. So it's awesome. The thing I love so much about it is that our clients are getting results so much faster. Like, I think that, in traditional business coaching, business coaches are often the bottleneck in their clients' growth. When you become so reliant on needing your coach to help you make decisions or get permission to, hey, is this okay? Can I put this out there? You're waiting on the coach to respond, which sometimes could take, in our program at the longest, it will take 24 hours because we respond within 24 hours to every communication in our community. But 24 hours is still a long time to wait if you're wanting to move on something quickly. And so I just think it's collapsing the time that our clients are making decisions. And because of that, our clients are getting results faster. So it's been bloody cool. I think it's awesome. Yeah,
it's super cool. What's your update? What are we talking about today?
My personal update is something that I think I've probably been living a little bit recently. I was listening to this podcast and Hormozy spoke about how Michael Jordan felt when he joined the NBA. And he was saying that he thought that at the top, it would be so competitive to become the best. But then when he got into the NBA, because everybody that got in there had already achieved their biggest ever dream, they actually got really comfortable. And that it was really easy for him once he entered the NBA to be able to become the number one basketballer because everybody else basically stopped trying. And I thought that was really interesting, and I reflected on it and I realized that I have been guilty of this probably the last 12 months. We've achieved more than I ever thought we would ever be able to do. We've achieved more than 10x more than I thought would be possible for us from the amount of awesome clients we work with, their results, our own personal results, our personal lifestyle. And, you know, there's not many other people who have achieved what we've achieved in our networks, especially in Perth, Australia. And so I think I got a little comfortable. And I realized recently that that's unhelpful and that it's actually so easy to, I hope it's going to be so easy for us to be able to take it to the next level, because I do feel like people cap out when they're comfortable. And I am not done. We're not ready. We're not capping out. This is just the new floor, not the ceiling. And it was just a really cool reflection for me hearing that. It kind of got me really excited and motivated again to like want to be better and to want to get our clients even better results and to want to have an even cooler community and to want to have even more awesome people inside of our community. Just got me lit up again. So I thought that would be helpful for someone listening.
I'm super pumped for that. What's the new goal? Like, let's set a goal. What's the big goal here? Like, how many coaches do we want to help to get to 50K months? And how big do we want our business to grow financially? What are you thinking? Like, surely you've thought about it.
Like in the next 3 years, 2 years maybe, I would love to help 1,000 coaches to hit $50,000 months. That's a big lift. And it's going to take a lot of work. But I don't want coaches to be stuck in the 10K time for money trap. Like it's the shittest. It's like the hardest place to be. You work so bloody hard to get to $10,000 a month, and then you're just so exhausted by being there and still broke that you start to wonder, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe I should go back to work. And I think that that's where most entrepreneurship dreams die, is at that point. And if you can just get past it, just to 20K months, you start to feel the breathing room. And then once you get to 30K months, you're kind of feeling a bit rich. Once you get to 50K months, dude, you can do whatever you want. And it is the best feeling in the world, and it's supported, and you have team, and it feels quite effortless, and you can really stay there and tick over there and have an incredibly good life. And so I really want as many people to experience as possible. The next financial goal for us, I would love to be hitting $500,000 a month. I haven't done the math on those two things going together, but that would be awesome. What about you?
I don't know if Tony Robbins said it or someone super wise, but things happen twice in your life. They first happen in your imagination, and then they happen in reality. So I've had this vision, and like I've seen it, I've closed my eyes, and it's $1 million a month in our account on our Xero. And I've already seen it, which means it's going to happen. And I don't know what timeline that looks like. I don't know if it's this business. I don't know if it is with this current offer we've got, but I've seen it. So for me, it's going to happen. It's going to be $1 million a month. And I don't know if that's going to be in 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, or whatever it is, but I think we have the skills to do it, and I'm super excited for it.
Yeah.
Steph, last week we hit the first 5 steps. Today we're going to hit the last 4 steps. So we're going to do 6, 7, 8, and 9. If you guys didn't listen to last week's episode, stop, go back, listen. It's a fucking banger, and then come back to this one. So step 6 is we're talking about one funnel. And I think you're best to tell us about one funnel because you learned this probably the hard way a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Say more.
Yeah. I think that everybody talks about this, and I think everybody talks about it because simplicity is the key to scale. Like, you cannot scale something that is complex. You cannot scale something that is messy, and it is so much easier to scale when you are focused, right? And so focusing on one course until you're successful, right? And so the rule of 5 ones, which is that you should focus on one audience, which we spoke about last week. You should focus on having one offer. So scaling it for us is successful, right? One funnel will be able to get you there. If you just do one audience, one offer, and one funnel, and you just became the best at that, over 1 year, you will hit $1 million. I did this, and it's exactly what happened in the first year of the Purpose and Profit Mastermind that I grew. And it worked because you are so laser focused. And I think so many entrepreneurs get shiny object syndrome. They add in more offers, they add in more audiences, they add in more stuff, and all of that stuff keeps you broke. That activity is going to keep you broke. Staying focused on your one offer, your one funnel, for 1 year, you just get really fucking good at it. So when you're bored, you're like, I guess I'll go fix my funnel. When you're bored, you're like, I guess I'll create more marketing messaging for this one thing that I'm selling. I guess I'll make the program that 1% better. instead of, oh, maybe I should do something else. Oh, maybe I should do something else. And I've been guilty of that in the past, especially once we got over $1 million. I started getting jazz hands and thinking that we should do more stuff. And every time we've come back to this one offer and one funnel to get them through. But Tim, talk me through, like, for this specific piece of content that we're going to talk about right now. So, like, we've got all these things lined up. What is the one funnel? Why do you recommend nailing one funnel before, like last week we spoke about 3 different funnels that you could use. Mm-hmm. Why would you pick nailing one of those before trying to do all 3?
Yeah, I think, like, if we talk about funnel, we want to talk about getting someone from, point A to point B. Usually that's from social media or some form to, like, submitting an inquiry form with you or raising their hand that they're interested. So let's just clarify that first. I think a lot of people at this 10K month, they think it is a more approach. So it's like they have to do Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter. They have to be running ads on Google. They have to be doing YouTubes. They have to be doing all these type of things. The problem with all that stuff is you're just a mere mortal human and you do not have the capacity to do it. If you're a 10K a month coach or 15 or 20 or 30 or probably anywhere around that range, you're probably really fucking good at doing your thing. And let's be real. You're probably not that good at the other stuff, marketing. But don't worry, that's where we'll help you guys with it. And you just need to know that if you spread yourself too thin and you try to set up a DM funnel, a call funnel, a low ticket to high ticket funnel, and all these types of things at the same time, you're probably going to do all of them shit. And when you do them shit, you're one of these people that sits there on the internet and go, Facebook ads don't work for me. They do work. You just don't know how to work them. And you just need to get committed on the one thing. So if you're a coach and you're listening to this right now and you're like, I don't know where I should start, shoot me a DM or shoot Steph a DM and be like, hey, I need to pick my one funnel. Here's my situation. What should I do? And we will help you with that. Okay. That's if you're a client or not a client. That's cool. Send us a message anywhere on Instagram and we'll help you with that. Steph.
Can I ask you a question? We have this client, Becca. She's awesome. Everyone, I think, probably knows about Becca by now if you've listened to our podcast or
on YouTube,
YouTube, because she has had some cracking success recently. She was sharing the depth of her funnel because she has this one funnel, guys, just so you know. It's $47 low ticket. She upsells some stuff. She's like cracked a $95,000 a month. It's insane, right? Off a $47 product. But just talk through like the depth of like that she's going to on her like landing page to kind of optimize it to make sure that she can convert that funnel at a higher rate versus like what other coaches are doing where they're just kind of slapping funnels together.
Yeah. So let's talk about the funnel here is she gets people to a landing page and then there's about 4 to 6 steps on it, depending on which one she's running. She's got a few. So every single step of the funnel has like a conversion percentage and each of them needs to hit a certain range. And if they don't hit that range, you need to optimize that step of the funnel. That's just on like the website funnel or whatever software she is using. And then you've got text marketing, then you've got email marketing, then you've got Facebook ads. You've got all these types of things which could be going wrong or right depending on what funnel it is. Let's say hypothetically, just in this one funnel that Becca's got going on, there could be 50 to 100 things that are going wrong at any one time. And if you imagine you have 3, 4, 5 different funnels, that's 50 or 100 things per funnel. That's 500 things that could be going wrong. And you've got an hour a day to commit to this. There's fucking no chance that anyone is going to fix that.
She was telling us that she like maps how people like spend time on her website and that if they're like hovering over an area, that's the point of that they're like probably most confused, right? And that she then knows that she has to go in and change the stuff on that part of the website to optimize it to get more conversions. Like, guys, this is how deep it goes, right? And most coaches out there right now at $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a month, they have these kind of slapstick funnels together and they're wondering why they're not able to scale up their income. It's because not only are you spending all this time trying to generate leads to pump through that funnel, but it's like a leaky bucket. You're just losing so many out the back end because you're just not tracking and measuring well enough. So that's why it's important just to run one funnel, guys. Like run one, get it good, get it optimized, nail it, right? Tim, if you're getting cold people into your funnel, how do you convert them faster? Like, it's harder when you get a cold person in your funnel. They're unlikely to book a call straight away. Talk me through what do you usually do? So
people don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you. They're coming in cold. Google says they need to consume 7 hours of content of yours, okay, to become trusted or whatever. So on top of that, they're going to be asking, who is this person? Can they get me a result? What is the key message? Why do I care? Do I gel with them? What are their beliefs? What are their values? What are they into? And then what are all the hidden objections that someone is saying about you in that moment? They have like 100 questions before they're going to convert. And then there are some coaches out there on the internet being like, why are people not buying my shit? They have an average website. They have 42 funnels and no one really knows what the key message or their niche is. And then they're like, man, this business thing is super hard. You just don't have the right components to build trust. And we did mention this on the episode before. It's like building trust is the main thing. Converting cold traffic is incredibly challenging if you don't have the right structure, if you don't have the right funnel, and if you aren't building trust with your audience. And this is why you need a really good marketing strategy, not just posting on Instagram 3 times a week. There's more to building trust than posting on Instagram, guys. And if you're still doing that, you're going to have a hard time.
Do you use nurture sequences? Like, is that like, I mean, I think everyone's heard of a nurture sequence.
Yeah.
If
you haven't, you're in the wrong place.
I'm a little bit snooze fest on a nurture sequence, but I know that they're required. Talk me through the job of a nurture sequence. Should it sell? Should it build trust? Should it be teaching them stuff? Should it be giving more freebies?
Yeah.
Like, what's working?
I guess the number one goal of a nurture sequence is to build trust. So how you do that is you drive them to other assets you've got. For us, it's our YouTube channel, which has our podcast on it, and we do how-to videos on there as well. So that builds trust because we get someone to that 7-hour goal a lot faster. On top of that, if you have an audience who you don't really know if they're going to work or not, or they're going to buy your shit, the best thing to do is you want to make them an offer. Usually, I'm not going to email someone that opts into our funnel on day one and say, hey, spend $15,000 on us in Success School, because that's not going to work. So usually the nurturing process, the more expensive it is, the longer it takes. We send anywhere from a 10 to 20 to 30-day nurture sequence, depending on what they are. And we try to hit off all the main objections that someone has about working with us, okay? So what do they get? What's the offer? Is there a guarantee? Is there a love it or leave it? All those types of things are hitting our objection. And then we're taking more of a long-term approach to this. We are not, you heard me talk about $1 million a month before. I don't expect us to get to $1 million a month next week by turning on a funnel. It's a compounding process that takes time. So Steph, once people are in your funnel or on your landing page, what do you need someone to convert at 25% opt-in rate? So just let me give you some context on this. So the gold standard, or like a good standard here for like something free. So like a freebie, a download, like a free workshop, whatever it is, like a good opt-in rate or a decent opt-in rate is around 25%. What would someone need to have on their landing page to get someone to convert? That level?
The 3 most common mistakes I see when I look at coaches' landing pages to free workshops or free lead magnets is that the headline doesn't say who it's for and what it's going to do for them. Like the big bold text, I'm talking headline, the big bold text at the top of your website or the top of your landing page needs to say, hey, this is for MILFs who are over 100 kilos that want to lose 10 kilos in the next 90 days. Okay, cool. Now I know whether it's for me, right? And they're immediately self-identifying yes, no, okay? If you want to get great quality leads through your pipeline and through your funnel, that headline matters more than almost anything else, okay? Underneath that, you want a sub-headline that explains a little bit more context about what it's going to do for them. Ideally, some sort of proof in the what we would call above the fold. So that's before you scroll down. There should be some sort of proof, some sort of testimonial, some sort of somebody backing up the claim that you're making. And then if it's something like a free lead magnet, you really don't need a hell of a lot more than that. You can have a video. It's probably a bit overkill, but they do definitely work. It creates a lot of trust if you do have a video in your opt-in page. Is there anything I've missed?
No, you've got everything on there. Just like standard shit, like features and benefits, but that's cool.
Yeah. So guys, if you're wanting your landing pages to convert better, like the number one thing that matters is that headline above anything else.
Yeah. So Steph, just in terms of like the simplest funnel, let's say they are running some stuff, they're at 10K, they're at 15K, whatever it is. They want to maximize it. They're running out of referrals. They're in that nightmare situation where like they're just asking their clients, hammering them, hey, you got anyone that wants to work with me? And you're just not getting much back, and they want to like kind of step it up. And we're talking like as specifically. So you've got DM funnel, you've got call funnel, and then you've got like a low ticket type funnel. This works really well for all the coaches. What would you pick and why? If
it was me, right now, I'd pick the DM funnel.
Yep.
1, I know that I can have great conversations in DM with people and build a lot of trust quite rapidly.
Yep.
And 2, it's really, really easy and cost effective. Like getting someone into your DMs is actually one of the easiest funnels that you can run. You could be upwards of 20 to 30 new people in conversations every single day. If you can get 2 of those across the line to book calls with you, all of a sudden you've got 10 sales calls a week. If you convert at 50%, which would be a very average conversion rate, but let's say you converted 50%, you could sign 5 new clients every week.
Yeah.
And it would cost you, I don't know, $30 a day, to be able to lock that in. And so definitely for me, I think if you have a bit of time on your hands and you're wanting to scale up your know, like, and trust, your following and your income, this would be the fastest way to do it.
Yeah. Awesome. We're going to switch into step 7. So we're going to talk finance and the pipeline math. Let's be honest, scaling to 50K months in a coaching business isn't just going to happen out of nowhere. And there's no point in having a 50K a month coaching business if there's no profit in there. So you need to actually work out your margins before you get there. So you need to know how much your offer is, what the pricing is, what's the profit. If we do start spending money on ads, like what's the profitability in that? How much are we going to have to spend? There are a whole bunch of numbers that you do need to know. And there is like 50K a month coaching business with no profit is it's essentially a waste of time. And I wouldn't suggest that for anyone. So we're going to jump into a bunch of questions around finance and the math around it. Steph, can you talk to us about the difference between revenue and actual cash collected? And I know this is a bit of a bugbear for us as well about coaches preaching sales without actually collecting the cash. So what's the difference between cash collected and cash projected?
Most new coaches who come into our program are measuring their revenue based on the dollar value of the client that they sign. So let's say that I had a sales call with somebody today and they signed up on our payment plan option, which was $297 a week. And then I would go and tell my coach that I just made a $15,000 sale. And so I'm basing that income off cash projected, income that I'm projected to receive over the next 12 months, rather than cash collected, which would have been $297 today. It benefits coaches' egos to speak to cash projected rather than collected, because it feels good to say I made $45,000 of sales today. It inflates the ego. But the problem is that so many things can happen that can cause you to never realize that income. A client could quit. They could try and pull out a contract. They could just stop paying and ghost you. Things happen in people's lives. They get sick. They go bankrupt. Like, you're not guaranteed to get that income. But if you're telling yourself and you're telling your coach and you're telling people in your world, hey, I made $45,000 of sales this month, but you actually only collected $3,000 of payments, that's going to start really messing with the way that you spend money and the way that you invest money, because you're going to be assuming that you're making more than you actually are. And so we get our clients to measure on cash collected. So if you ever see us claiming client results or sharing their wins, that's money that's actually hit their account in this month. So cash that actually hits their account is what we measure on. And that's what we do all of our pipeline math on. So it's like, I've received $30,000 this month. I paid my team this much. I put this much away for tax. And that's how we kind of teach our clients to make money. And that's why our clients make a lot of money, is because they're across the real-time numbers. Tim, where do you even start with explaining pipeline maths to somebody like me who hates numbers? Yeah.
So you just want to work out the monthly fee that someone pays you or invests with you to work with you. So let's, for round numbers, just say it's $1,000 a month to get your high ticket coaching service. And then to hit 50K months, you're going to need 50 clients. The problem with that is there is a churn to it, in which most people don't account for. But usually if you sell an agreement to someone, it'll be in a 3 month, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months. The problem is after 18 months, there's going to be a degree of churn that leave. And that's what you have to account for. So growing a 50K a month business is one thing, but actually keeping it is another thing as well. So I want you guys listening to this is just work out how much people are spending with you on a monthly average, and then work out how many clients you're going to need to hit a $50,000 a month. And if you want to take that to 100 or 150 or 200 or $1 million, work out how many clients you're actually going to need. And then you need to factor in a churn rate. So typically a churn rate, like an average one, is about 10% per month. So let's say you've got 50 clients and 10% leave per month. That brings you down to 45 clients. Then you're going to have to replace those 5 that have left. And then if you want to grow, you're going to have to add more. So your marketing machine is going to have to be dialed and your numbers are going to have to be optimized for that. So that's the first place to start with pipeline math. Steph, what is the easiest way to stay consistent with like reviewing how many clients you get every week? Do you think it's important?
Yeah, 100%. You have to know your numbers. And the easiest way to stay consistent with being on top of your numbers is for you not to actually have to pull them. Because I think we have so many numbers that we measure and track. And if we had to go in every Monday and go into Instagram and go into Go High Level and go into Thrivecart and go into Stripe, and we had to get all of the numbers out of there and put it in our little tracker, we probably get too busy and not do it, right? That's just human nature. So remove it from your task list and give it to a VA. It is such an easy VA task to go through and pull that data every Monday to present to you, so you have the data to be able to make all the decisions and to know, like, you know, what your KPIs look like, exactly how many clients you need this week, what your sales conversion rate is. Are sales tracking down or up? And if they're tracking down, what do we need to do this week or this month to fix it? If they're tracking up, what did we do that worked so that we can add it to our shit that works file? And the fastest way to stay on top of it is to not make that a you task, is to make it a somebody else task.
100%.
We grew up poor, both of us. Me especially poor. You just kind of...
You were way poorer.
Yeah. I was way poorer, but we didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouths by any means. And so when we got money, we definitely have had some experiences of just having a lot of fun with money and spending a lot of money and probably not making always the best financial investments or decisions. What's a financial mistake that you made early on that you maybe regret, or maybe not regret, but wouldn't repeat again?
Probably not factoring in tax would be the main one. That's a huge one. So like, we talk about getting 50K months. The reality of that, if you live in a Western country that's not America, is you pay 10% GST on top of that. So it's already down to 45. And then let's say you make 20K profit from that 45, 40 or 50 or 60% of that is going to the tax man. So you're actually only left with 10K a month. So you need to think about this from like a perspective of, how am I going to mitigate as much tax as possible legally? And how am I going to maximize the profits that I make in business? Because growing a 50K, or we've seen this, people that grow 150 or 200K a month business and they're left with nothing after tax. It's a lot of work. So you need to like build the model and build the system and build the thing that you're selling from the start, because there's nothing worse than, we've been there. Dude, to be honest, like talking on this podcast right now, I didn't make more than 60K months for my first 8 years. It fucking sucks, because after everything and you paid out your taxes and expenses or whatever it is, you're left with kind of nothing. So you just need to know your numbers from the start and just expect to pay tax. And if it's a game you want to play, you need to learn how to play the game. You need to know the numbers. You need to know the tax. You need to know the deductions you can make. You need to know how it all works. There's no point being a 50K coach and burying your head in the sand and being like, oh, it's cool, my accountant's going to handle it. No, they're not, dude. Like, yes, they can press buttons, but you need to direct them on things as well. You need to have an understanding of how money works. Yeah.
And having the right accountant really matters. I would say I used to be, I remember us both having this. Like, we would just get these tax bills and then I would just like fly off the handle. I was so emotional about my tax bills because I just wasn't expecting them to be so big, because I didn't understand how it worked. Now I know exactly how much our tax is going to be approximately every quarter, every month. We're putting money away for it. There's money left over. It's never a stress. It's a frustration, but it's never a stress. And so if you are still right now getting tax bills and being like, oh, I got the surprise tax bill. Like, no, you didn't get a surprise tax bill. You got a bill that you didn't know how to plan for. And that's the power of having people like us who are ahead of you to explain to you how to not get in that situation. And also, a good accountant matters. Guys, not all accountants are the same. And some are really good for making sure that your business is really protected, and some are really great for helping you to siphon money into your personal account so you can buy lots of properties, and some are really good for towing the grey line and putting through as many deductions as possible. So my advice is like, don't just go with a random accountant, and if you're not happy with your accountant, come and talk to us, and we can put you in the direction of different accountants that we know for different things. I will say there's different accountants for different levels. So yes, that too. As you are a 10K a month coach, there's going to be a different accountant to when you're a 30K or 50 or 100K a month coach. And these things change the levels you go up. And that goes for financial advisors, mortgage brokers, real estate agents, like literally everything. You need to know that like at every level you ascend in terms of how much money you make, the advice and the people that you have around changes. I am super excited to dive into number 8. Number 8 is delivery and retention. You could have the best marketing and sales system in the world, but if you are leaking people out the back end and can't keep them and can't retain them and they're leaving and they're love it or leave it or they're quitting in the first 30 days, it literally won't matter.
Yeah.
I think Hormozy talks about this a lot, where he talks about the fact that like you got to try and keep as many of the clients that, and you're not going to keep them forever, but you need to try and keep them past the average point of retention for your industry. And so client success and renewals are what keeps revenue stable. So Tim, you have created lots of raving fans over your decade in business. What's the most important factor for creating a raving fan early on?
Yeah, so I reverse engineered this, and we did this with the original Success School. We said, what does everyone hate about group programs? And we wrote it down. And then we did the opposite in Success School. So they were like 1 call a week, coaches who haven't had a business, not having retreats, calls being on at weird times, really long modules that were 90 minutes and didn't give us anything.
Lumped into group programs with no...
So we designed what we think is a very good program. So we do 4 calls a week. We have an AI bot. Every module is around 10 minutes. They all have SOPs. They have AI bots on every module. We do 3 retreats a year, and like the list goes on. So we just said, we're going to design the best possible product that we can do for the price point that we can give. And Success School is, half the price of most of the competitors that we run, and we give 5 times the amount of value. So it was a real no-brainer for us. So when someone comes in, I'd say 9.5 out of 10 times they're blown away with what they get in the first 30 days. And that's because what is out there is shit, like in comparison to it. So how you build raving fans is, 1, you have a great product, and number 2 is you got to give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's the second part of this. If you want to be a 50K coach, you have to care about your clients, and you have to care about their results more than, they care about their results. And that's something that we've kind of grown into over the years. Like, we didn't start out as good coaches who care, but we've developed into them now because we know how much it matters. And sometimes when a client is wobbling in their belief, you have to believe in them more than they believe in themselves. And people really appreciate that. And when they get to the top, or they get to 20, 30, 40, 50, 100K months, they will remember the motherfucker that stood with them on the way. Okay. And that's going to be you. And that's how you build raving fans. And I would say a lot of Success School we've built from referrals. And imagine attracting 550 high ticket clients with referrals is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, who's done that
Yeah.
in the last 2 years? And that's because like we care and we've created raving fans. Steph, what is the number one thing to include in an onboarding process to get clients results that most coaches miss?
The fastest way to ensure that a client stays with you, raves about you, refers their friends to you, is to help them get a win as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And if your first 30 days in your program are not designed to help your clients win fast, it's going to be really hard for you to scale this up and to keep clients. They're going to start having doubt. They're going to start getting wobbly. And so the number one thing to include in your onboarding process, like I have a whole list of things you have to include in your onboarding process, which I'm not going to dive into today. But the number one thing to include in an onboarding process to help your clients get results is expectations of what it takes. I really think that you need to lay it out. Like, your program is already designed to help them get a result, okay? The number one reason why they're not going to get the result is because they don't fully commit, because they don't fully show up, because they don't go 110% all in, because they have doubt, because they don't know what to do when they wobble. And so if you set out in your onboarding process the expectations that you have for your clients to help them get a result, and in your onboarding process instill more belief. So our onboarding process for our clients, or our orientation video when they join Success School, has 16 client results in there, like proof of our clients' results, because we don't just want to sell them on it when they come in. We want them to sell them on it again once they're in the program. So they're like super excited to get the same results. Okay. So expectations. Here's what to do if you wobble. Here's exactly how many calls you need to show up for per week. Here's exactly what you need to do to get results fast in this program. Here's exactly where you need to start. Here's the kind of energy and attitude that we expect you to bring to this container. And so if you don't lay that stuff out, they're not going to know, and then they don't know how to behave. When people come into your containers, there's 3 things they're thinking is, how do I get the most out of this? How do I need to behave? Whenever you come into any new group environment, whether it's a gym or a community, you're like, what's everyone doing? What's everyone wearing? How do I behave? Like, we're always trying to figure out how to behave once we join a community. And so if you're not specifying exactly how you need them to behave, they're going to behave different to the way that you want them to. And if you can get them acting and thinking like the way that your best clients do, they're going to get results so much faster.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about getting them to re-sign though. This is like an awkward conversation that people have. They get really orkies about this process.
Yeah.
How do you introduce the idea of renewal without being awkward?
Yeah. Here's how we do it. So in our orientation and onboarding, we talk about the fact that, hey, you're here for 12 months as a minimum. Usually building a great business does take time. So it might be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. This is not just a relationship where you come in, build a 50K a month business and then peace out. It does take time. The second is you want to let them know quite early before they are actually up for renewal. So if someone's on a 12-month agreement, the day before it goes out, don't be like, hey, tomorrow's up, like re-sign. You want to give people time and you want to make them an offer. So usually we're trying to resell them on a second year. It is a sales process. So what's going to change? What's next? What's going to happen differently? We want to acknowledge their results and then we want to give them an offer. It's just like sales. We want to give them an offer that is honestly too good to refuse. So inside Success School, we have a legacy rate. So people will sign on to a second year at a cheaper rate because they have consumed some of the content. Although we do make new content all the time, what the value is in the coaching. So if they get a discount on a second year to be with them, you've retained a client and then you've doubled your lifetime value. It's an incredible thing to do.
I think the only thing that I would add to that is you have to make the next step logical.
Yeah.
Like if it's different, like our process in a group container with lots of people is a different process to maybe what I would give someone who's like 10K a month, right? Yeah. If you're a 10K a month, you probably sign someone for like 1-to-1. Maybe you sign them for 12 weeks and you're trying to get them to stay on for another 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And most people just pitch the offer like, hey, yep, so we can stay on together and we can do more 1-to-1s and, I'll do it at a discounted rate. And they're so focused on selling the offer that they forget to sell the outcome.
Yeah.
And so the way to not make it feel awkward is to be like, hey, we've done all this awesome work together and I know that this is just the beginning. And here's some of the things I'd love to now focus on for the next 3 months for us to be able to help you get to the goal that you still want, the next goal, the thing that's next. The way that I'd love to do that with you is with the offer, right? And so I think that the way that you make it not awkward is that you just believe in their next goal and then you help them map a pathway to get to that next goal. That's the simplest way to do it.
As we scale, we definitely need to include team members in this because if you're running a 50K a month coaching business on your own, it's going to be a ball ache. How do you integrate team members into delivery and still keep your clients happy?
So number one thing that we get asked when coaches come into Success School and they're at $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a month is, I know I need someone to come in and help with delivery, but I just don't know how my clients are going to accept that because they've signed on to work with me, right? And so when you bring someone in for delivery in your programs, it's not to replace you. It should be to replace one part of what you do. So for example, you might just bring somebody in just for the mindset component of your fitness offer, right? Or you may bring somebody in just for the accountability component of your offer. So you still do the coaching, they do the accountability. You still do all the nutrition, they just do the mindset. For us, we have our client success managers who do the 1-to-1 onboarding and the 90-day on-ramp for our clients so that we can have them have an exceptional experience, get all the 1-to-1 support they need to get them flying in the first 90 days in our program. And so it's not about removing yourself from delivery completely. It's about removing yourself from one part of the delivery so that you can free up 5, 10, 15 hours a week to be able to focus on more marketing, more sales, more operations, anything like that. So it's not about removing yourself completely. It's just about adding somebody in to do one part of what you do.
All right, let's shift gears into our final step here. We've got team and systems and scaling to 50K months is definitely going to take some team, okay? And we're not advocates of having 42 people in your team. Like I've even seen this where, we've had some clients and they've had less than 50K a month businesses with bloated teams. That's not what you want because that just eats into your profits. So you want to build a model that's great. You want to have an offer that's good and you want to have a team that's not bloated. There's nothing worse than paying passengers on a train. And we've had that before. We've had that plenty of times and we've made that mistake. So I guess first question, and this is a great one for you, Steph, is like, who should be a first hire when scaling past 10K months? Should it be a VA? Should it be an appointment setter? Should it be someone to help with delivery? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So my thoughts are $10,000 a month, the first hire that you would make would be a VA for sure, if you haven't already got one. So that's someone that's going to help with the thing that most people try to outsource, which they do wrong, is social media. They try and get their VAs to do their social. It's not the thing that you want to be outsourcing, guys. It's really hard to teach someone how to outsource that. So the thing that you should start outsourcing are things like landing page builds, email marketing setups, automations, doing all the repetitive stuff. So preparing your KPIs every week, chasing up failed invoices, sending invoices, updating links, contracts, landing pages, all those sorts of things you want to get a VA to do. Then once you get to like $20,000 a month, that's typically where maybe $15,000, maybe $20,000 a month, we would start looking at potentially bringing on some support in delivery would be the next hire that you would make. I think early on people are like, oh, I need to get setters and stuff like that. I think you being in your DMs and removing yourself from other parts of your business is a lot more practical and a lot more powerful initially than trying to get some cheap setter to be in your DMs to send out mass amounts of contact. If it was me, I'd be VAs, all the admin. Then I would be doing coaching, like get someone in for coaching to support with the delivery. Yeah. And that's all sounds great, but let's talk about SOPs and SOPs, in case you aren't aware what that means standard operating procedures. Where do most coaches go wrong with SOPs? Like when they hire their first VA or when they hire their first coach, what are the mistakes?
So where they go wrong is they don't have an SOP for them. They hire a VA and then they're like, do this. And then they're like, you suck. And that's pretty much the cycle. But it's not the VA that sucks. It's your processes and you suck as a boss. So I'm going to lay it out really simple. I get called the systems guy by a lot of people. So what you want to do is when you hire someone, you want to do their role for them or with them. And then you want to talk them through like on a Zoom meeting or whatever meeting it is. You want to walk them through and show them how to do the tasks. You want to record that. Then you want to go to AI, take the transcript and turn it into an SOP. So you actually have to show them how to do the task in the standard that you want and then build an SOP from that. I think a lot of people do this wrong, was they build the SOP before the person is hired and then they have all these questions and then they're like, oh, how do I do that? Or what about this step? Or they just miss stuff. And then the SOP gets done incorrectly. And that's not a great way to basically hire someone. So when you're first starting out, is showing a VA or a delivery person or an ops person how to do all this stuff takes time and it takes effort and it takes like grind. But once you have it all set up, you can just hire the next person. They can watch the SOPs and it's great.
I'm just going to touch on one thing you made, like one point you made last time, which was like, most coaches will say it's too hard to train somebody to do this. So it's just easier if I keep doing it myself. And I just want to be really clear that if that's your mentality, that is why you are going to stay broke in this industry. And that is why you are never going to scale past $20,000 a month. And you are never going to be able to take a holiday and you're never going to have an amazing house and Lambos and fly business class if that is your mentality. So being okay with putting in a little effort to train somebody so that you never have to do that task again is worth it every day and night, especially if it's tasks that you do every week or every day for the rest of your life. To never do that again is so worth setting that up.
Steph, moving into like the purpose of daily huddles, team meetings, all that type of stuff. Do you think it's important to have a weekly team meeting or a daily huddle? Like, where do you stand on that?
When you have a team, and it doesn't even have to be a big team, but when you have any team, whether it's one team member or 3 team members, daily huddles are phenomenal, especially for a starting out team. Like if you have just hired a VA and you're wanting to upskill them as fast as possible, daily huddles are where it's at. Catching up with them for 10 minutes to talk through their daily tasks that they went through today, where they got stuck, where they're behind, are they on track, to be able to get them to tell you what's not working so you can see whether or not the output is there, so that you can talk through the objections that they have. Just rapidly upskills them so much faster than doing one meeting a week where you're trying to like look at all the stuff that's been done. And also you start to wonder at the end of the week, like, what the fuck have they been doing all week? So you kind of come on this meeting like frustrated that they haven't done all the shit that you wanted them to do. But if you did daily meetings, you'd be way more across what they were up to. Once the person's trained, so you probably do daily meetings for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks. And then you'd be able to step down to like 3 times a week. And then you'd be able to step down to 1 time a week, right? Now we barely even have meetings with our team because they just know what they're doing. So we probably do like once a fortnight meetings, really. But yeah, like daily huddles are awesome at the beginning. Finally on this, what is the danger of keeping all the knowledge in your head instead of putting it into systems?
If you're the type of person that keeps all your knowledge in your head, you are never going to be successful in growing a massive business. It's just literally impossible for you to do. You have to extract the knowledge out of your head, turn it into SOPs, and you have to lead a team. And that could be one VA, that can be a delivery person, it could be sales, marketing, whatever it is. But you need to extract what you know into SOPs and empower a team to do it for you. It's kind of like the multiplication effect of it. So you hire one person and 2 times 2 is 4 and 4 times 4 is 16. And that's where your organization starts doing big things and has pulling power. You as a one-man band or a solo operator, you are so susceptible and liable to like how you're feeling, your energy, your mood, all those types of things. You're never going to grow a 50K a month business and sustain it with just you. Like you have to get okay with hiring people. For me, you didn't say this before, but my number one hire is a VA and a good one, not a shit one. But you can't get a good VA unless you're a good operator. So you might struggle finding a good VA for a long time.
And I think that point that you just made though around your number one job, if you want to scale up your business to like $50,000 a month, is to get all of your knowledge out of your head, doesn't just apply to VAs. It also applies to leveraging your IP, being able to help people get results without needing you, not being the bottleneck in your client's growth. Like your ability as an entrepreneur to take what is in your head and formulate it into words is basically marketing, right? To be able to take what's in your head and formulate it into client results is building a fucking awesome curriculum that anyone can follow to get a result, right? That's how you can start to do low ticket courses and make heaps of money with passive income kind of courses, right? Your ability to take it out of your head and give it to your team member means that you can amplify your message and your impact because it doesn't all rely on you. And so if there's anything that you got from this podcast today, like I think it should be your ability to get it out of your head is actually the thing that's going to change the game.
Yeah. Guys, if you got some value from this episode and you want to learn more about how we can help you go from 10, 20, 30, all the way up to 50K months and beyond, to be honest, send us either a DM on Instagram, it can be Steph or me, send us the word 50K. And we would love to see how we can support you on that journey. We have a 30-day love it or leave it in our program as well. So if you join and you think it's not what you wanted or not what you expected, or these guys are kind of old talk and they can't deliver, you can leave at any time throughout that 30 days. We would love to extend that opportunity for you. Until next time, guys, don't forget, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate all the subscribes, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.